The world loves people who appear free, but not for the reason you think. Because freedom, most of the time, does not inspire respect. It provides ease of access. The more reachable you are, the more you are consumed. The more available you are, the more invisible you become. When you offer your time, your energy, your loyalty without question, at some point you stop being a value and start being a habit, and habits have no value. There is a law that operates silently behind human relationships. It is harsh, it is impartial, and it does not reward good intentions. This is the law of supply and demand. The more you give, the faster you respond. The more always there you are. The need for you decreases. At some point you become like oxygen, vital but free. And no one thinks about the value of air as long as they are breathing. Machiavelli noticed this centuries ago. He wrote that excessive generosity, excessive openness, excessive availability, in the end brings not respect but contempt, because something that is too open becomes ordinary. And what is ordinary is easily discarded. You are always taught the same thing. The more you give, the more you receive. But this is a fairy tale. This is a rule written for those who constantly give, not for those who rule. The truth is quieter and harsher. People only value what they have paid a price for. They only take seriously what they might lose. And most of the time, they only protect what is expensive. So if you want to reclaim your power, you need to stop being available to everyone. In a world of cheap options, you need to become a value that is hard to reach. So how does a person determine their own value? How is the price of a soul written? You have come close to understanding this. But first you need to accept this. Right now, you are on sale. And perhaps the time has come to close the store. Why is water free and why are diamonds expensive? The father of economics, Adam Smith, wrestled with a paradox that explains your entire social life. Why is water, which is necessary for life, almost free? He asked. And why are diamonds, which are useless, incredibly expensive? The answer is scarcity. Water is everywhere. It falls from the sky, flows in rivers. Because it is abundant, its existence is taken for granted. You wash your hands with it. You pour it into the toilet. You waste it. Diamonds are rare. They are hard to find. They require labor, pain, and blood to extract. Because they are scarce, they are priceless. People kill for them. Look at your life. Are you water or are you a diamond? The good man, the man who says yes to everything, the reliable friend. He is water, essential. The ecosystem of others. They need him to listen to their problems, to do the heavy lifting, to validate their egos. But because he flows freely, they set him aside. They cancel last-minute plans because they know he won't get angry. They pay him less because they know he won't negotiate. They dump their emotional garbage on him because they know he is an open container. He thinks he is a good person. In reality, he is flooding the market with his own presence. He has created a surplus of himself. To be expensive, you must be a diamond. This is a difficult transformation. You need to kill the desire for instant approval. You need to be willing to be called distant. You need to be willing to be called arrogant. Sociologist Thorstein Veblen, who coined the term conspicuous consumption, noted that people earn their status not by what they do, but by what they can afford to waste. When you are expensive, you signal that you can afford to waste the approval of others. You don't need their approval. This signals high status. Start today. Audit your availability. How quickly do you respond to messages? How often do you say yes to things you hate? How much time do you spend listening to people who never ask about you? Every instant reply is a coupon you distribute. Every no problem is a discount code. Stop this. Create a drought. Let them get thirsty. When the flow of water stops, people don't shrug. They panic, check the pipes, are willing to pay anything to get it back. Be the drought. Walk past a luxury nightclub. What do you see? You see a line. You see a security guard. You see a locked door. You see obstacles. Now walk past a Walmart. The doors open automatically. The lights are bright. Everyone is welcome. Which one commands your respect? Which one do you dress up for? We value things that resist us. This is called effort justification. If we need to work for something, our brain rationally explains it. We assume it must be valuable. If we obtain it easily, our brain assumes it is cheap. You are living with automatic doors. You are letting everyone into your mental space. You are letting everyone into your schedule. You are like a Walmart. You need to pull a velvet rope. Friction is the art of being hard enough to reach to filter out low-value people, yet attractive enough that high-value people will clear the obstacle. How do you apply this? Default no. Most people's default setting is yes, unless they have a reason. Your default setting should be no, unless you give me a reason. When someone asks for a favor, a meeting or an appointment, the answer is first silence, then maybe. Then yes only if it aligns with your mission. This hesitation is not rudeness. It is a calibration. The same with a client. Don't just take the money. Let them apply. Make them wait a week. It sounds irrational, but you will lose the cheap ones, the parasites. Valuable players will respect the rope. There must be something valuable inside, they will think. Machiavellian advised that a prince should be slow to believe and slow to act. Be slow. Let them wait in line. Let them wonder whether they can get in. If you accept immediately, there is no dopamine rush, no addiction. You are shaping your existence. You are ensuring that only those who can afford the entrance fee are in the club. Knowledge is power. And like all currencies, inflation kills it. The more you talk, the less your words are worth. The free person is an open book. He tells you his life story on the first date. He explains his strategies to his colleagues. He tells his neighbors his frustrations. He posts his every move on social media. He is inflating his own currency. He is flooding the market with data about himself. And because he tells everyone everything, he has no leverage, no mystery. To be expensive, you must be a vault. Machiavelli wrote, "Everyone sees how you appear. Very few experience who you really are. Keep who you really are secret." In a conversation, apply the 80-20 rule. Let the other party speak 80% of the time. You speak 20%. When you speak, don't explain. "I'm moving to a new city. Why? Time for a change." Sentence over. Don't justify. Justification is the language of the subordinate. The boss gives orders. The employee explains. When you withhold details, you force people to fill in the gaps. They project their own fantasies onto you. They assume you have a plan of mastery. They assume you are deeper than you are. You become a puzzle they cannot solve, and the human mind is obsessed with unsolved puzzles. Think of the most charismatic people in history. They all had some quality of being distant. You felt like you knew them, but they always had an inaccessible side. This distance is the price tag. It says to the world, you can see the displayed model, but you cannot touch the inventory. Stop oversharing. Stop scattering your emotional breakdowns to everyone. Stop telling people your next move before you make it. Silence creates a void, and in that void, your value rises. People will start approaching you. Because you rarely give your opinion, they will start seeking it. When the quiet man finally speaks, the room goes silent. When the loud man speaks, people look at their phones. Be a voice for which a price must be paid to be heard. Now we are going deeper. We talked about time, access, and words, but the most important is this. The most expensive thing you own is your emotional response. Worthless people are reactive. They are cheap. You press a button, they explode. You insult them, they cry. You praise them, they glow. They are like vending machines. You put in the stimulus coin and you get the reaction product. They have no internal sovereignty. They are slaves to external events. To be expensive means to be non-reactive. To possess what the Stoics called apatheia, not indifference, freedom from pain, the ability to look at chaos and remain unaffected. Why is this expensive? Because controlling your biology requires tremendous energy. When someone disrespects you, your lizard brain screams, "Attack!" Suppressing this scream requires high-level executive function. It requires discipline. It requires a self-conquered soul. When you don't react to an insult, you overturn the power dynamic. The insulting person wants a reaction. That is the payment they are looking for. If you refuse the reaction, you have also refused the transaction. You are leaving them alone with the burden of their own toxic energy. Imagine a negotiation. One man is sweating, talking fast, desperately trying to close the deal. The other man is leaned back, breathing slowly, reading a file. Who has the power? The calm man is the expensive man. Machiavellian knew that a prince who loses his temper loses his authority. Anger is a confession of weakness. It admits that another person has the power to disturb your peace. Don't give them that power. Think of your emotions like gold bars in a vault. Don't distribute them to every beggar who comes to the door. If someone tries to provoke you, look at them with curiosity rather than anger. Look at them like a scientist observing a mouse in a maze. Interesting behavior. Then walk away. This level of composure is terrifying to manipulative people. They rely on your emotional debt. They need you to owe them a reaction. Cancel the debt. Be a ghost to their drama. When you are emotionally expensive, people walk on eggshells around you because they don't know where you stand. The more energy they spend trying to understand you, the more valuable you become to them. The ultimate sign of a luxury product is that it doesn't need you to buy it. Ferrari doesn't run ads begging you to drive their cars. They don't care if you buy one. Someone else will. If you don't, the car maintains its value sitting beautifully in the showroom. The free person is needy. He needs the job. He needs the girl. He needs the invitation. And because he needs it, he has no bargaining power. Chris Voss, in his book Never Split the Difference, teaches that neediness is the death of a negotiation. The moment the other party understands that you absolutely must have the deal, the price drops. To be expensive, you must develop the power to walk away. You must build a life where you don't need any particular person or opportunity to be whole. This is what Machiavellian meant when he said, "A prince must rely on his own arms, not the arms of others." If your financial stability is entirely tied to a single employer, you are cheap. You are a slave. If your emotional stability is tied to a single partner, you are cheap, you are dependent. Diversify your power. Develop rare skills. Build a wide network. Develop a self-sufficient mind. When you know to your bones that you can walk away from any table and be fine, you become dangerous. You are not bluffing. You are stating your terms. This is my price. This is my standard. Accept it or I leave. And you must mean it. The free person stays in bad relationships because they fear being alone. The expensive person leaves because they know their solitude is more valuable than bad company. The free person accepts a low salary. The expensive person resigns because they know their skills are priceless. The willingness to break the deal is what makes the deal possible. When you stop needing them, they start needing you. This is the dark irony of desire. We want the cat that ignores us, not the dog that jumps on us. Be the cat. Sit on the high wall. Let them come to you with treats. And still, maybe eat, maybe don't. This is the value stance. Someone who is always open is like a flat line, always there. Predictable, familiar, becomes invisible. But someone who is valuable is a rhythm, appears, then withdraws, approaches, then creates distance. Robert Greene puts it clearly. If you want to cultivate respect, learn to use absence. This is not just withdrawing, it is managing timing. First contact is made, interest forms, and at exactly that point, a gap is left. Why? Because the human mind attaches more to what it imagines than what it sees. When side by side, flaws become visible. Small mistakes are noticed. Reality becomes ordinary. But when you disappear, you become an idea. And ideas are more perfect than realities. When you withdraw, people begin to fill the void. They think about you. They wonder what you are doing. They question why you are no longer as accessible as before. And curiosity amplifies value. This is a simple equation. If supply decreases, value increases. But applying this is not easy, because the moment you withdraw, a voice will rise inside you. What if I am forgotten? What if someone takes my place? Let them come. If your place is easily filled, you are never indispensable. It is better to learn the truth early than to live it late. But what usually happens is this: they don't leave, they come. Think of the artist who disappears for a while. Silence, invisibility, waiting. And then when they return, everyone looks at them. Or at the workplace, the person who doesn't constantly talk, doesn't exhaust themselves, withdraws when the time comes. When they speak, everyone listens. Why? Because they are not part of the noise. Use this consciously. If you have been too accessible, withdraw. Not with reaction, but with strategy. Don't answer immediately. Don't go to every invitation. Don't open up your entire schedule. Reclaim your own space, because you are not a necessity. You are a privilege. Stars that constantly hang in the sky go unnoticed, but a comet that is rarely seen leaves a mark. Which will you be? The free person compromises, finds the middle, asks for $100. The employer offers $50. He takes $75 and thinks he won. He wants loyalty. His partner mostly offers to be loyal. He accepts and thinks it is love. He compromises on his standards because he fears losing the deal. To be expensive is to apply a zero-tolerance policy to mediocrity. Steve Jobs was a difficult person. He demanded perfection. He would look at a circuit board that no one would ever see and say, "Ugly. Fix it." Was he uncomfortable? Yes. Was he expensive? He was the most expensive in the world. People want to work for the perfectionist. They want to be with someone who has high standards because it validates them. If you accept garbage, you are the garbage can. If you demand perfection, you are the king. When you refuse to compromise on your core values, you signal that you are not desperate. I don't work on weekends. I don't tolerate disrespect. I don't have relationships with liars. These are not requests, they are law. If you draw a hard line, people will test it. They are checking whether you are real. If you hold your line, they will bend. If you cave, they will take you over. The expensive man is willing to lose the deal rather than lower his standard. And the paradox is that because he is willing to lose the deal, he usually gets exactly what he wants. This is also about how you treat yourself. Conspicuous consumption is not just about buying expensive things. It is about developing high-quality habits. If you are stingy with yourself, you cannot be expensive for others. If you eat garbage, sleep poorly, consume meaningless content, you are signaling to your own subconscious that you are a low-value entity. Upgrade your internal operating system. Read difficult books, lift heavy weights, speak with precision, treat yourself like a high-performance machine that requires premium fuel. When you treat yourself with respect, the world follows your lead. You teach people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. Stop devaluing yourself. You wouldn't spray graffiti on a Ferrari. Don't spray insulting paint on your own character either. Carry yourself not with arrogance, but with gravity. Arrogance is loud. Gravity is silent. All of us have a bargain hunter living inside. Take the safe road. Don't rock the boat. Be grateful for the crumbs. This voice is a survival mechanism inherited from our ancestors. It wants you to survive. It doesn't care whether you succeed. To be expensive, you must kill the bargain hunter. You must adopt the luxury identity. This means shifting your mindset from, "Can I afford this?" to, "Is this worthy of me?" The free person enters a room and hopes people will like them. The expensive person enters a room and evaluates whether they like them. The dynamic has reversed. You are the one who is selective. This is not about thinking you are better than everyone. It is about knowing what suits you. One puzzle piece is not better than another. It simply has a certain shape. If it doesn't fit, you don't force it. When you stop trying to fit into cheap slots, you find the expensive ones. And there is also the matter of honesty. The free person lies to keep the peace. They say, no problem even when there is one. The expensive person uses truth to cut through the noise. I don't like this idea. I expect better. This straightforwardness is rare, valuable. People will trust you more because you are willing to offend them. You become the trusted advisor, and the advisor is always the highest paid person in the room. And here is the hardest part, the final price that must be paid. If you want to be valuable, you must be willing to be misunderstood. You must accept walking alone. The herd is crowded and comfortable. It moves together, feels safe together, but it produces no value. The one who is alone determines their own direction, and that is why they are rare. When you begin applying these laws, when you set limits, when you withdraw, when you say no, people notice. Some will label you as changed. They will say selfish. They will say distant. Some will quietly leave your life. Let them. This is not a loss. It is an elimination process. To find gold, you need to sift the soil. And in this process, many things slip through your hands. If you try to hold on, you only carry weight. If you let go, to find gold, you need to sift the soil. And in this process, many things slip through your hands. If you try to hold on, you only carry weight. If you let go, a gap forms between your old self and your new self. What was familiar is gone. The new has not yet fully settled. That place is quiet. It is lonely. But right there, construction begins, step by step, boundary by boundary, silence by silence. You build a reputation, and a reputation is a slowly rising structure, but once built, it is not easily destroyed. At some point, people begin to hear about you before they meet you. They have an idea before they encounter you. They know you are not easy. They sense there is a price to reach you. And for exactly this reason, they take you seriously. This is the goal. Not to be loved by everyone, to be truly valued by a few, to be pursued, to be chosen, to not be easily consumed. Now you are at a moment of choice. If you want, you can return to the old ways. The doors are still open. You can adapt to everyone. You can keep saying yes, keep giving from yourself until nothing is left. You will be liked. You will be accepted. And in the end, you will be consumed, or you choose a different path. You set limits. You restrict your access. You redefine your value. At first, it will be hard. You will feel alone, but you will never be cheap again. One day when you look in the mirror, you will not see someone seeking approval, but someone maintaining their standards, someone who can get up from the table if necessary. Remember, the world is a market, and you are not a free sample being distributed. The most valuable thing you own is yourself, and once spent, it cannot be retrieved. That is why, be rare, be difficult, and let the value be set by you.